Hi, today I'm in the Old Testament in the book of First Chronicles. Now, in First Chronicles chapter 13, we see that David consults with all of his military leaders, his counselors. He wants to move the Ark of the Covenant back to Jerusalem. Now, if you remember the history of the Ark of the Covenant, you remember that a couple of generations before, during the time of Eli the prophet, his two sons had used the Ark of the Covenant as their good luck charm, taking it into a battle with the Philistines. God says, I'm not going to be used, I'm not going to be manipulated, and so he allowed the Ark of the Covenant to be captured by the Philistines. In the early chapters of 1 Samuel, there are actually some rather humorous stories. They weren't humorous at the time that the Philistines were going through them, but they were rather humorous to read in this generation. And at that particular time, the Philistines sent the ark back to Israel, saying, we want nothing to do with it. And for a number of years, it was parked at the home of someone along the way there, and they didn't dare move it. That was during the time of Saul, and now David is on the throne, and David wants to move that Ark of the Covenant, that symbol of God's presence, back to Jerusalem. So he talks with those who are in his administration, people who are leaders, and they suggest to him, well, since this is the Ark of the Covenant, we need to get a new cart. Don't taint it by using a used cart. Go get a new one. And so David listens to them, and they go and they put it on a new cart, and they've got two men, one by the name of Uzzah and the other by the name of Ahio, who are taking the cart from where it had been parked for so long back to Jerusalem. And along the way, it comes to a place, there's a threshing floor that the road goes by, and there is a bump there, and it almost upsets the ark. And out of a sense of respect, of course, Uzzah puts his hand to steady the ark. But of course, we know what happens, that the ark was, that was an affront to the God of Israel, and you don't touch the ark, and Uzzah was killed. And David didn't know what to do. The scripture says that he was angry. I believe that's true. Perhaps more characteristic is that he was frustrated, he was bewildered, he didn't know what they did wrong. Well, most of us from 1 Chronicles 13 remember this story of Uzzah being struck dead, and we draw proper applications from that. But 2 chapters later, in chapter 15 of 1 Chronicles, David comes back and he consults with the Levites and the priests. And he says, how do we move the Ark of the Covenant back to Jerusalem? So they go back into the scripture. They said, this is how God told Moses to move the Ark. And so David said, all right, let's do it that way. And so they went about and followed the same procedure. Instead of carrying it on a cart with rolling wheels that's pulled by oxen, they had poles that they put on through the rings on the ark so that men who were Levites could carry it. And God had specifically told Moses which people from the tribe of Levi he wanted carrying the ark and all of the other items that were in the tabernacle and were for the service of worship. So this is how they ended up doing it. And David then went and worshipped and danced before the Lord and served him, and this was attended by all kinds of celebration and worship as they made their way back to Jerusalem. And so this is the way that David finally got the ark back to Jerusalem, where it could be put in the tabernacle and then later on in the temple that Solomon built. What's the point? The point is we need to consult the book. That's what David didn't do. In one of my Bibles, as I've read this so many times, it's very, very clear that David in chapter 13 consults all of these men. In chapter 15, he consults God. And the parallel between those two chapters is striking, or maybe I should say the contrast is striking as these things are noted. In chapter 13, this is human wisdom. In chapter 15, that's how God says to do it. And we live in that world also. Very often when we're ready to make decisions, we consult men before we consult God. What is the wise human thing to do? Not how does God prescribe that? And we in this generation need to take note of that as well. So I hope you do. I hope day by day as you make decisions that affect you and your family and those around you, that you will bring those before the Lord, opening His Word to what He has to say and being built up in that. Father, I ask you to help us to turn to your Word as that which is true. Help us to understand that you have a purpose and a plan, and that you desire to work in us and through us according to that purpose and that plan. Help us to hear you in the name of Jesus. Amen. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day now.